Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Um, Unfortunately, it looked like nobody could attend the office hours today at noon. I know that's probably a hard time for many of you, but unfortunately, I wasn't able to hold them later on in the evening. But I wanted to create this video to go over the final paper, even though this is not due until next Monday. I wanted to discuss each component and things that you should be doing now. I really encourage you not to wait until the last minute, till our final week, to start working on this. Since you have no assignment for week 5, I really encourage you to go ahead and start putting things together, start reviewing my feedback on assignments week through 4. So what I want to do is just go over the instructions. Basically, what you're doing is going to take all your assignments from weeks 1 through 4 and putting this in the final paper. But the most important thing that you need to be doing is reviewing the feedback that I've given you on all those assignments and making any necessary revisions. I don't want the same work that you submitted to me, especially if I noted areas that needed further improvement. So basically, this is your opportunity to improve upon everything you've done in this course so far and submit your best work. So the breakdown of it, to prepare for the assignment, like I said, review. Actually, it should just be weeks 1 through 4. Review all your instructors' feedback on the assignments 1 through 4. I leave embedded comments within Waypoint. So go back to Waypoint, and inside your document, you will actually see embedded comments that will provide you further guidance and see what kind of corrections or revisions you need to make. Here's the assignment template. Be sure that you're using that. I'm going to open it up here, and you'll see everything set up for you. Make this a little bit bigger. You've already got the running head. There's nothing you need to do here. All you need to do is include your name, the instructor's name, and the date. And then you want to make sure that you delete these green boxes. They are just meant to help further guide you. So before you submit, make sure you delete them. You'll provide a brief introduction. And then what you're going to do, I'm going to go back to the assignment instructions. Let's see, is first thing you're going to do is copy and paste your week 1 assignment. So list your pathway from week 1, the standards, and the learning objectives. So you're going to put that right in here. You can copy and paste what you did in week 1 and paste it there, as long as you've made the necessary revisions. Then for the formative assessment piece, you're going to describe the importance of a formative assessment, explain what a formative assessment is, and explain why formative assessment should be part of every lesson plan. Discuss how they should be used, and write 1 or more developed paragraphs, including any supporting research. And then also, based on your week 2 assignment and any necessary revisions, explain the 3 ways that you expect to formally assess learners based on the standard and learning objective that you selected. Be sure that at least one of your formative assessments utilizes technology, and describe how these formative assessments are aligned with your objectives. So this right here is pretty much your week 2 assignment that you created. But again, go back to Waypoint, look at any feedback that I've provided you so you can make any necessary revisions. This part right here is added information that wasn't necessarily part of your week 2 assignment. You may have included components of it, but you should, when you're discussing this part right here, make reference to the readings or find outside sources to support, why it's important and to formatively assess. So you'll do that, and here are some great links from the Writing Center. If you're having a hard time knowing how to integrate the research or citing within your paper, or how to quote or paraphrase, remember, you want to limit your usage of direct quotes. your paper should represent no more than 10% usage of direct quotes. You never end a paragraph on direct quotes. You always follow up with your analysis. So you always want, just keep in mind that quotes are meant to support your analysis, not replace it. So some strategies in paraphrasing, which is something that we should do more, is when you're reading something and you find information that you think is really valuable to include and support in your paper, read whatever you've read, look away from it, and then write down what you've just read, and that will help you to learn how to paraphrase. Then the development of the summative assessment that comes from week 3. This basically you're going to copy and paste what you've done in week 3. I know a lot of us struggled with that, so be sure that you look over my feedback for that one as well. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'd be happy to help further support you. And then right here, you're going to copy and paste the rubric that you developed. And then here's your week 4 analysis. Review the data analysis assignment you created in week 4, revise the assignment, and include it here. Okay, so that's all you need to do there. And then the last part, which is fairly new, which is the new part of the final assignment, is your reflection. You're going to review 11.1 of your textbook, and where LaFrancos discusses various grading systems, particularly the method to help learners become self-regulated learners by engaging them in their own assessment. So you're actually going to do this for your paper. You will perform your own self-assessment of your final project by completing the following. So you'll access the rubric for the final project. So I'll go back and show you where you can get that. So you'll scroll down to the bottom, and you'll see here's the grading rubric. And here are the criteria, standard and learning objective. So read through each of the different proficiency levels. Distinguish means that you list the selected pathway from week 1, the standard and the learning objective. Read proficiency, read basic, see which one you feel your assignment aligns to, and do that for each criteria. There's a number of them just because this is a pretty intense final project. And then you'll review your introduction, thesis, and conclusion. Do you have good control over your spelling and grammar? What about APA formatting? Did you meet the page requirement and the resource requirement, which, let's see, which is, you have to use at least 2 scholarly, peer-reviewed, or credible sources that were published within the last 5 to 8 years, in addition to the text. So the minimum is 3 different sources, 1 being your text and 2 being scholarly, peer-reviewed, and credible sources. And you can find that within the Ashford Library. So then going back to the template, so you'll access the rubric, review it, and assess your level of proficiency for each criterion, and then list the criteria, the proficiency level that you think you perform. So you'll go back to that. To put here, you would just go back to the rubric, and you would say the criteria is standard learning, let's see, standard and learning objective. So again, you're going to be writing, you can kind of do this in list form, but you'll put here, list each of the criteria. So the first one is standard and learning objectives. So you'll do that. And then you'll list how you think you performed, and let me know why you think you performed that way. So if for learning standard and objective, you think you reached that distinguished level, explain to me why you reached that distinguished level. And then you're going to do that for each criteria. So then you'll go formative assessment. Which proficiency level do you think you've met and why? And so forth and so on. So you'll do that for each one. You could write each one as a separate paragraph. If you'd like to bullet it, that's fine too. And then after reviewing the rubric and self-assessing your work, discuss anything that you changed in your assignment. So when you went to the rubric and you examined what you've done, did you notice that there was anything that you needed to change, and tell me why? And then briefly discuss the benefits of having learners self-assess their work. Provide evidence from readings or outside sources to support your response. So here, again, this part should definitely be, actually these two should definitely be in paragraph form. Tell me why, this process of using the rubric to self-assess your own work is a beneficial process for students to engage in. And again, this is where you're going to integrate your research, so you can either use the course text or a scholarly source to help you support your response about why it's important to have students self-assess their work. And the biggest thing is that it helps them to become self-regulated learners. And then you'll have a conclusion. Briefly summarize the ideas that you discussed in your presentation, persuading the audience of the significance of these ideas. And here's a link in the Writing Center to support you. And then here are your list of references. These are all different examples that will help you. So that is your final paper. Like I said, most of it you've already done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The first 5 bullets you've pretty much done. There's other components that you want to make sure if they aren't included that you do include them. Most importantly is review the feedback that I've given you. And if you don't understand or need further clarification, please reach out to me. I am more than willing to have a phone conversation. We can meet over Zoom, or we can simply email if you need further clarification. And then your reflection piece. So just let me know if you have any other questions, like I said, and I hope you all are having a great Friday. Talk to you soon.